We ask you to bless our friend Aaron.
Hundreds of classmates and friends come together tonight to pray for a teenager as he fights for his life.
Just a day after it opened to traffic, drivers say they're concerned about safety at one intersection on Citation Boulevard.
The Pope is spending his first night on American soil. We'll show you the plans for the rest of his time in the U.S.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. A big show of support tonight for a teen battling critical injuries. Hundreds gathered on the Montgomery County High School football field to pray for 16-year-old Aaron Williams.
The former Montgomery County student crashed his car on the way to Bath County's homecoming Saturday night. WKYT's Monique Blair shows us how the event tonight helped the teenager and his family in our top story at 11.
We ask you to bless our friend Aaron. If it be your will to bring him back to full health to his family and to his friends.
As 16-year-old Aaron Williams continues to fight for his life at UK Hospital, those who love him came together to pray for his recovery.
Yeah, I love him. He always makes me laugh. He's always got something funny to say. He's just fun to be around.
Aaron was definitely an amazing kid. Everybody loved him.
There's nobody out there that didn't like him.
The Montgomery County Indians played their biggest rival Tuesday night, the George Rogers Clark Cardinals. But as the crowds came together to pray for Aaron Williams' recovery, there was no sign of rivalry.
Whenever someone's hurting in the community, everybody comes together.
Just keep it.
And now Aaron's family and friends are asking for a little more help. They're selling shirts asking for a $10 donation in return. Every dollar will go straight to the Williams family.
They're all amazing people. They would give everything they had for anyone.
They're self-employed. They're going to be out for months. I mean, Aaron's going to be down for months, you know. And it's going to be a long rehabilitation for him to come back.
For now, as Aaron continues to fight, his loved ones say they're holding on to what they call the power of prayer.
It is amazing because this morning we had some bad news. Everybody stopped and prayed. The next thing we know, we got good news. He gave a thumbs up today.
In Montgomery County, Monique Blair, WKYT.
A lot of support there tonight. If you're interested in how you can help the Williams family, head to our website at WKYT.com.
It has only been open for a day, but safety is already becoming a concern on a new Lexington Road. An extension of Citation Boulevard from Georgetown Road to Leestown Road opened yesterday afternoon. And since then, Lexington police say the intersection of Citation and Greendale has seen at least 5 crashes, including one that sent a woman to the hospital tonight. WKYT's Garrett Weimer looks at the concerns and what can be done to improve the intersection in a story that's new at 11.
It's supposed to make the commute easier. But drivers say the opening of Citation Boulevard has opened up a new set of problems at the intersection with Greendale Road.
It seems to be causing more issues than what it is being useful.
In fact, a handful of crashes in just a matter of hours. On Tuesday evening, a woman had to be cut out of her car and taken to the hospital after police say she pulled out in front of a semi on Citation.
We just were talking about how dangerous the intersection seemed to be, and then all of a sudden it was very strange. We just heard the accident happen. It was very, metal on metal, and we walked up here and just saw.
Right now, it's just a two-way stop on Greendale. Several signs remind drivers that cars on Citation don't have to stop, and a police officer sits nearby hoping to slow drivers down.
I received emails, phone calls, and Facebook messages concerned about the intersection and asking that we install a light here.
The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet says Greendale Road doesn't have enough traffic for a stoplight, but they've planned a traffic count in the coming weeks to see if it needs one now, like there is here at the intersection of Buck Lane. While they wait, some drivers say they'll go another way.
It's about the only suitable thing at this point, because at this time, until this is fixed, it's not safe.
In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Because Greendale is a state road, it is the state's decision whether or not to put a light at that intersection.
More than 100 people gathering in southern Kentucky to show their support for law enforcement. Officer Jimmy Hoskins with the U.S. Forest Service organized the Our Lives Matter event in Laurel County. It included the reading of 25 names, all of them American police officers killed in the line of duty since August 1st. The most recent, a Florida deputy, shot to death today.
You know, it's very humbling when you hear those names and realize that they gave all for, you know, our communities and for our freedoms.
The event ended with the crowd laying hands on the officers and praying for them. The father of a murdered state police trooper came to Frankfort today to push for making police cruisers safer. Trooper Cameron Ponder died last week when a suspect fired shots into his cruiser. House Speaker Greg Stumbo is asking state police to look into different methods of protecting officers in their cruisers.
A bulletproof windshield would have saved my son's life. Thank you. And lastly, to my humble son, Cameron, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father, which is in heaven. Amen.
Stumbo says he hopes to have a bill ready to go before the legislature in January.
A grand jury will decide the fate of a Laurel County man accused of killing his estranged girlfriend. Joseph Nestor is charged in the murder of Amber Decker. Her body was found in the woods near her home on the Laurel-Clay County line. The home had been burned. Decker's family was in court today as a judge waived the case to the grand jury.
I want him to know that Amber will always have a voice and that he will not get away with this. Justice will prevail.
There was a candlelight vigil in memory of Decker tonight on what would have been her 26th birthday. It is now up to a grand jury whether or not a Knox County high school student will be charged in a drug case. Police in Knox County say Dante Brown advertised a drug he sold to students as LSD. We're told the two students who took the drug went to the hospital but were released. A juvenile was also taken into custody.
Police arrested a man they say stole hemp plants. Danville police arrested Timothy Preston after being called to the Walmart parking lot for a report of two men selling marijuana out of the truck. Police say the plants were stolen from a legal hemp grow on private property. Preston faces several charges, including receiving stolen property. Police say the other man was not involved in the theft. Fall officially begins tomorrow, and it's going to start off with some beautiful weather.
Sounds like it. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey is here now with a very pleasant forecast. It continues for us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. September's been absolutely gorgeous. We could use some rain, though. We started to turn dry roughly the middle of August, and obviously we've been fairly dry since then, but at least the weather has been very, very nice. Current temperatures dropping into the low 60s into most of central and eastern Kentucky. That dry ground at night with the dry air allowing temperatures to really drop off down to 57 right now into Mount Sterling. Some areas were into the mid-40s early this morning. Defender, nothing showing up locally. Fog was a problem for some this morning, and it may be an issue on a local scale. First thing tomorrow morning, out the door around 7 o'clock in the morning, especially into those valleys. Watch out for some locally dense fog that'll quickly give way to sunshine as we go through the afternoon. I am watching the East Coast. High pressure on top of low pressure. All of that means the weather over the next few days is going to try and go in reverse. A new hour-by-hour guide shows rain trying to push into the bluegrass state, coming from an odd direction. We'll show you where that comes from and when it arrives in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Pope Francis spending his first night on U.S. soil.
The Pope received a personal welcome from President Obama when he arrived at Andrews Air Force Base this afternoon. Greg Boswell shows us how the Pope will spend his time in the U.S.
An adoring crowd cheered for Pope Francis as he stepped off his plane at Joint Base Andrews. President Obama, along with the First Lady and their daughters, greeted the Pope as he took his first ever steps on U.S. soil. Francis has no events in Washington this evening. He has a full agenda on Wednesday, beginning with his second private meeting with President Obama in the Oval Office.
I would not expect a robust discussion of a political agenda, but rather I think it's an opportunity for the two men to talk about the values that they have in common, and there are many.
Following the meeting, Francis will celebrate Mass outside the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception, and he will make history as he becomes the first pope to address a joint meeting of Congress on Thursday. He told reporters on his papal plane that he will not specifically ask the U.S. to lift its economic embargo to Cuba during his speech. My desire is that we reach an agreement that satisfies both parties, he said.
The Pope's busy schedule creates a massive security challenge for security agencies in Washington, D.C., New York, and Philadelphia. One FBI agent here in Washington called it one of the largest, if not the largest, special event that's occurred here. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
Pope Francis wrapped up his 4-day stay in Cuba with a mass. He also met with families who opened their homes to create makeshift churches for the faithful to worship after the Castro regime clamped down on religion. A group of 160 people from Lexington will travel to see the Pope in person. The group will leave for Philadelphia on Thursday morning. They plan to tour holy sites and areas of historic significance around the city. On Saturday, they'll join thousands of others for the Festival of Families. They'll also attend Mass with Pope Francis on Sunday.
It's about more than just the man himself. It's about the office that he represents, who he represents, as a visible sign of the unity of the church and a visible sign of Christ himself. And I think it's a reminder, too, of what we would call just the universality or the Catholicity of the church.
That group will return home on Monday.
The company that sparked backlash for raising the price of a drug used to treat a deadly parasitic infection says it will roll back some of the increase. Turing Pharmaceuticals raised the price of the drug called Daraprim from $13.50 a pill to $750 a pill overnight. That's a 5,000% increase. Earlier today, the company's CEO said he didn't think the price hike was excessive.
Well, it depends on how you define so drastically, because the drug was unprofitable at the former price. So any company selling it would be losing money. And at this price, it's a reasonable profit, not excessive at all.
The CEO said the new price will make Daraprim more accessible, but wouldn't say what the new price would be. His company obtained the rights to sell the drug last month. A looming government shutdown could delay food stamp payments. The USDA says it will stop providing benefits within the first few days of October if Congress doesn't pass a temporary funding bill. The bill is being held up by a battle over funding for Planned Parenthood. Congress has until October 1st to come to an agreement.
Authorities confirm a deadly Louisville apartment fire is a case of arson. 2 people died from smoke inhalation during the fire in the old Louisville neighborhood on July 2nd. Days after the fire, authorities said they suspected it had been set on purpose, but they needed to finish their investigation. 3 other people were injured. 2 inmates suspected of using bed sheets to escape from a Louisville jail have been caught. 29-year-old Matthew Johnson and 37-year-old Christopher Cornelius escaped from the Community Corrections Center last night. Investigators say the men tied the sheets together, attached them to the jail's rooftop, and climbed down 3.5 stories. The pair were on work detail when they escaped. And deputies arrested a man accused of making meth near a homeless shelter. The Whitley County Sheriff's Office says 50-year-old Bobby Strunk had 3 one-step meth labs around him when they found him behind Williamsburg's homeless shelter. They say he lived at the shelter and they found meth when they checked his room. State police disposed of the labs while Strunk was taken to jail.
Ashland Incorporated plans to spin off its Valvoline oil unit. Business Lexington reporting the move will create 2 separate publicly traded companies. The separation plans are expected to be complete in about a year. Ashland is based in Covington, while Valvoline has been in Lexington for more than 30 years.